Darkness looms over our current and future workforce. People lack meaning without purpose and direction. Your role as senior members of clinical development and human resources is to provide a light that cuts through the shadows and inspires the next generation of scientists. Of all the things that can boost emotions, motivation, and perceptions during a workday, the single most important is to make progress in meaningful work. And so that's why I'm going to be talking to you about the Shadow Pilot program today. I'll start by going over what the biggest problem is in our current onboarding system. I'll go through the subsequent problems that emerge due to a lack of sufficient onboarding, my solution, which is Shadow, and how it combats the issues in our current system. Finally, we can then look at what Shadow paradigm looks like at the future of our company. So going back to the main problem, no meaningful onboarding program often means that unstructured readings and research lose their saliency and value when they're not paired with a target. O.C. Tanner's Global Health Report found that poor onboarding execution leads to poorer job fulfillment and workplace productivity, decreased employee engagement, and increased turnover. So after looking at this main issue, we can then explore the 3 problems specific to our company. First, due to our small size, senior bandwidth is extremely limited. Like the US ports in COVID, there are not enough senior members on the onboarding team to effectively get new clinical members activated. This leads to exceedingly long runways in which new team members stumble through training without adequate guidance. It destroys their initial momentum and workplace sentiment, leading finally to no understanding of what meaningful work looks like in a clinical role. Their motivation begins to crumble, they develop a negative perception of the company and of management, and they become emotionally checked out before they even have their first day. So considering these 3 byproducts of a limited onboarding program, I seek to provide a remedy through Shadow. Now the Shadow paradigm is systemic help adopting distributed onboarding work. Now, you might be asking, a solution is great, but where will senior management get the time to incorporate Shadow into their day? And this is the beauty of a distributed onboarding system. You don't have to. By assigning champions, we reduce process conflict of senior bottlenecks through dynamic relegation. Internal coaching and onboarding has also been shown to be more cost-effective and impactful for change. Champions should be adept in both relationship building and onboarding materials to ensure the greatest success of a distributed leadership system like Shadow. Once these champions are established, we can carve out rotational blocks for new clinical team members to have a stronger holistic understanding of their role. Starting with a technical block, we could show them how to train doctors on clinical protocols. We'll introduce a cultural block to reinforce the company's mission that we provide medical access to people experiencing orphan-designated diseases. Well, of course, we'll have a relationship block, allowing them to feel comfortable chatting over bagels and fruit in a non-threatening environment. And we'll also have an internal roles block. This helps outline how they interact with different departments, such as legal and finance. Now, you might be thinking, people have been using our method of onboarding for years, and it turned out okay. I mean, heck, I used it. Why change when people seem to just figure it out? Okay, you're right. I'll leave. We guess we can just wrap it up. Thank you so much. No, listen to this. Our goal is to augment the system rather than replace it. Effective workplaces provide a strong vision, then ensure the autonomy to self-actualize within a role. And our current system excels at self-discovery. Shadow would be implemented for community building and explaining the unwritten skills and procedures through the rotational blocks that we talked about earlier. Self-study time is already well implemented and can emphasize concepts explored during the Shadow program. Regulatory, SOP, and clinical programs all have readings that will be easier to understand and carry stronger pragmatic value when related to hands-on experience. So Now that we've talked about our shortcomings of the current onboarding system and the ways that Shadow remedies our system through champions, leading rotational blocks to contextualize readings, we can look forward to the future of our company. So imagine a community, building relationships across cohorts from day one. Imagine a workforce where efficiency and harmony produce lasting value. Imagine an onboarding system built on clinical champions, developing the next generation of visionaries, motivated and on target from their first day at the company. Today, I'm asking you, as senior members of clinical development and human resources, to consider the Shadow program to distribute onboarding workload across champion clinicals such as myself. Please ask me questions at the conclusion of this presentation. I'd love to schedule a meeting to go over the next steps next week where we can implement the distributed shadowing system. So thank you for listening today, and I look forward to digging into the logistics next week for our implementation.